We'll come on to a huge game on Saturday, the FA Cup final, a repeat of the 2017 final, and Arsenal won 2-1 with goals from Ramsey and Sanchez. We'll come on to the approach to the game and Arteta's lineup. But first, Layth, this has huge implications for Arsenal beyond just the fact that it's a huge occasion.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to go on a positive point to start with, I was at that 2017 Cup final. I was reporting it from the press box, and that was a glorious, glorious day. Obviously, it's mirrored this season in a way because we beat Man City 2-1 in the semi-final. Obviously, beat them 2-0 the other week in a really good performance. Chelsea in the final. Obviously, Chelsea won the league in 2017. But they finished in the top four, so they're no mugs at all. And if Arsenal can win, it can really put a nice gloss on the end of the season, basically, and set Arsenal up for next season. But to go back to the original point, which you alluded to, it's massive in terms of money. I know we were talking about the Europa League budgets being nowhere near the Champions League budgets when we were in the Champions League and when we just dropped down to the Europa League. But to not have Europa League money at all, full stop, is so worrying for a club that has based their some of their match day revenue model on money that comes in every game, basically, and to lose that through obviously the pandemic is not done Arsenal any favours. Couple that with a lack of TV money too. Arsenal are struggling. It was a really, really clever thing that they did to get that 12.5% cut, because they could have been even in a worse position, basically. And if they don't qualify for Europe after Saturday, I just dread to think how much money they'll be able to spend this summer. They'll have to cut their cloth accordingly. And what does that mean in terms of, we've talked about Aubameyang already, but what does that mean in terms of being able to attract new players? I'd be very, very worried, basically. So we need to beat Chelsea on Saturday, and then we can just move on and never speak of this season again, basically.
Yeah, it's money, it's Europa League, it's away days, it's a London derby, it's Arteta's first trophy. There's so much riding on it. Serge, what do you think coming into it? Obviously after the Watford game, do you think they've got enough to take on Chelsea, who have been impressive in big games recently?
I think 100% Arsenal have got enough depth and quality at the moment to beat Chelsea. I mean, I always think we can beat Chelsea.
Yeah, we need to say that Serge really hates Chelsea.
Well, I mean, the fans are just
not the only one.
They're singing of their songs of Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea. So I'm quite glad we won't have to deal with any of that noisy nonsense on the cup final. But obviously, it's a very sad game because none of us are going to be able to go there. The FA Cup final is one of my favourite games of the calendar. I always look forward to that weekend in May. Have we got enough ability to beat Chelsea? Yes. I think, defensively without Mustafi, I think that's the only questionable issue we're going to really have, because a sentence I never got to say, but
it's been a long season.
I think we've got enough in midfield to stifle the creativity of Chelsea. I think they've had a long season as well. Frank Lampard was kind of losing his head in the Liverpool game, so I think it means a lot to him. So I think this is a really, really important game for us all. So I think if we can really try and push and get this done, it will actually polish the turd of this season.
We know that Arsenal's attack can turn it on and Aubameyang can step up in the big moments. But Dan, I know you were concerned, as you said in the match reaction, about Holding and Luiz at the back. What do you think? How will Arteta set up in this game to try and combat that weak partnership?
Well, I think he'll certainly go back to three central defenders. He switched to a 4 against Watford, and I just don't think it particularly worked very well. I think Tierney will drop back into that left centre half role, but they just need to try and do it against City and just take the chances they get and try and stifle Chelsea as much as they can. I think we can take some kind of positives in the way we've played against Chelsea this season. Obviously, in the game of the Emirates, we lost 2-1, but for 70, 75 minutes, we were by far and away the better team, and it was just 2 silly errors. So hopefully we can avoid those. And then the game at Stamford Bridge, we were down to 10 men for over an hour. And we still, got a result. So you can look at those as positives. Obviously, lost the first game, as I said, but we've just got to find a way to win. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how we do it. And I personally think this is probably our most important game in a number of years, just because of everything that's riding on it. Money, a building block for Arteta. finishing what has been a quite frankly terrible season on some kind of high. So yeah, I think it's a massive game.
Yeah, it's potential to be a huge high and a huge low. I mean, Layth, for Arteta, if he was to go into next season with an FA Cup under his arm, that would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it really would be fantastic. It'd be a joyous occasion on Saturday to watch him actually lift the FA Cup, albeit on TV. But as you say, to have that boost going into pre-season, to go, look, lads, you have to buy into my methods because we've already won a trophy in a not particularly good season. So, there's so many reasons why winning silverware, lifting the trophy on Saturday at Wembley would really lay a marker for next season and just be a massive shot in the arms to Arsenal, Arteta, the club and the fans, basically. So, yeah, let's hope it happens, but you just don't know. I think hopefully, because Chelsea have finished in the top four, that was their aim at the start of the season, just like every club around there as well, but they've actually done it. Maybe they'll be taking their foot off the pedal a little bit. Probably not. Again, maybe I'm doing a disservice, but at the same time, will they have that absolute intensity if they'd have finished fifth, basically, coming into the game, finish fifth? I don't know if they will. Ultimately, it's going to be a cracking game. I'm so looking forward to it. I'm just gutted that I'm not going to be there. I've done a few games in lockdown from the press box, but obviously with only 25 journalists, the big boys are going to get that, and I completely understand that. So on Saturday morning, I won't be doing any tweets. I'm going to start drinking from about 9 in the morning. I'm going to catch up with old mates we used to watch Arsenal with in the 80s, and you won't hear from me all day until we win it, basically, if we win it. And then if we do, it'll be off the scale, basically. But it's the FA Cup final, but it doesn't feel like the FA Cup final. Not a traditional FA Cup final week for obvious reasons, which is a real shame because everyone loves the FA Cup. I love the FA Cup more than most, basically. I've been to a lot of finals, been to a lot of games over the last 40 years in the FA Cup, good and bad. I was at Wrexham when Arsenal lost to arguably the biggest giant killer in English football history, basically. And I've obviously been at Wembley for Annie Linnigan's 93 effort. I've done the 98 Cup final. I was in Cardiff for the 2001 final. Loads and loads of finals I've been to, basically. Too many to talk about. It is a magnificent day. It's just a shame the fans won't be there and it won't be the same. But yeah, let's just win it and kick on for next season.